music should tell you exactly how it feels to serve God. And as Jeremiah said, indeed, the Lord has plans to prosper me, and He will not let me down. That's exactly what's on the background. A good morning, a great song, a great piece, worshiping and praising the one who sits high out there. We're back on your screens, Johnny and myself. The lady will have decided to kick her off the screen. She's not too well.
She's attending to medical emergency, so this morning. But it's the 30th day of July. July is gone very fast.
Yes. Oh, I see.
Yes, tomorrow, the month of July.
Oh, then it means that our bank accounts have
blossomed.
Yes, the
and ballooned.
Yes, the month has ended once again, and it means that yes, there's a lot in there.
I'm told that for the private sector, it's the end of the month is not so happy a time for employers.
Really?
Yes, employers.
Because they need to.
Yeah, because they need to dole out the cash. But for the employees, they are always looking forward to the end of the month.
You need to get them, and so that at least the week will be exciting and lead into.
But you know, sometimes you work and then you're working for the client, and the client hasn't paid, but the employees are expecting their money. You know what I mean? So anyway, good morning to all the hardworking. People out there, the entrepreneurs, we feel your pain sometimes. Yes,
we do.
It's okay.
We do. And it's a great day in Zimbabwe too. I hear polls have already opened. The guys are voting. Let's remember Mugabe and his people in times of prayer. They need it, especially
exactly. And I wish that all Zimbabweans will remember this particular one. That look. Beyond the elections, there's life. Beyond the elections, there's Zimbabwe, a country called Zimbabwe. Beyond the elections, there are Zimbabweans, and they were Zimbabweans before the political regime came. So they should remain same and not fight and cause trouble and mayhem and attract unnecessary press. To their country.
I'm sure they know already. I'm sure they should know. But hey, Charlie, John, this morning I had to open about 20 pieces of sachet water before I go to the studio.
Yeah,
it's getting worrying. I don't know, but
I don't know
what really. And sometimes when Ghana Water says that we have sent tankers around, I'm like, are they invisible tankers? Because I don't get to see them.
I don't know, but I think for our area, for example, because of the reservoir at the Accra Academy, sometimes you're able to get water if you go out there. But I remember the Adabraka incident where the Ghana Water Company said they've sent some 30 tankers out there. I had people complaining that they are living on the Watson Road and they have not had a single tanker come to them.
You've not seen one?
Yes, not a single tanker come to them. So maybe, because the person told me that they have seen the tankers go to the mosques where they use a lot of water and the market places and all of that. So, Stanley Mate, good morning to you, our very good friend. Let's know what's happening, because if there's no water, there's no life. There's no water,
and exactly when is it? Because he said that last Thursday, food production has started, but taps were empty from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and still empty. I don't know. But
well, we pray for water. News is up next here on New Day.
Hello and good morning. It's time for the news for today. Now, members of the Ghana Medical Association threatened to withdraw outpatient services at public health facilities from Monday, August 6th. Danger looms along the Biposo and Kasi Road in Bosontri district of the Ashanti region following reports of rocks falling off the cliff. And Bongo District Assembly provides sanitary facilities in a bid to end open defecation. Now, 14 females have completed professional driving entrepreneurship training. The graduates have also been professionally trained in vehicle maintenance and management skills.
Commercial driving, which for many years has been the preserve of males, is about to change following the growing interest by females. Network of Women in Growth Ghana, in partnership with Empower Foundation, has introduced another batch of 14 young women in driving and entrepreneurship. This is to help reduce female unemployment and to challenge the females over male-dominated fields of work. The beneficiaries have been taken through both tutorials and practicals.
As known, women are better drivers than men, so we wanted to train more women in this sector, to get more women into such areas, and to also give them some sort of livelihood, so that we move from the vocational training of learning how to make soap, learning how to make necklaces, or learning how to do beading, but we can also venture into other areas such as driving.
Network of Women in Growth Ghana again wants women to venture into technical areas like construction and painting.
This is an avenue to create jobs. So we are saying government to support us, even if it's a matter of taking some of the women on that we have trained to also work with them. It will be very helpful.
A beneficiary, Mary Lalako Agboli, is already employed by the Metro Mass Transit. She encouraged women to be bold and enter any industry they could attain the expertise.
Anyone who hears of my training, being a female yellow bus driver, it's like, wow, how come? You smallish like you, do you think you can drive this bus? But I tell them that it's not about the body, it's about what you can do, your determination.
A grants manager of Africa Women Development Fund, Beatrice Boachi Yadom, expressed readiness to assist in reducing gender-based stereotyping through promotion of skills acquisition among females.
In a more secured income-earning venture that can help catapult their lives, that of their families and communities at large, as well as break the long-standing stereotypes associated with some professions which have been labeled as men's jobs.
All the participants were presented with certificates and driver's license.
Now, pupils of Kasingo Basic School in the Bongo district of the Upper East region are in a difficulty. Inadequate classrooms is impacting negatively on teaching and learning. Brighton Alpha reports the assembly is appealing to individuals and philanthropists to help put up a structure for the school.
The school is deprived. It has only 2 blocks for the primary. Junior high school 1 to 3 sits under trees. The privation is all over. Several children are disadvantaged. Results show average performance, but inadequate infrastructure is hampering efforts of teachers.
We have only 2 blocks, and these blocks were meant for only primary before the other GHS. And the GHS from 1 to 3, no classrooms. So we sit and the trees. So it's only from 3 they are inside because you see that they need help. So we put them inside the class so that we can help them, polish them to go and write the BEC.
Kasingo is a farming community and incomes are low. This is what they have put up to be used by the junior high school. It started 4 years ago. This is what their incomes can provide. The Assembly and the Education Directorate are aware of the poor situation of the school.
Most of the time you see animals around who will just be fighting and be making noise, disturbing the class. The members also in the community will be riding motorbikes around and be a little distraction. It will just, distract the whole class and then attention will not be there.
The Kasingo Basic School has enough teachers, but classrooms are inadequate. Though ready to give off their best, teachers are challenged.
We don't seem to get any answers to what we complain about. Sometimes the community members would want to help. We have been complaining most of the time and then we don't get any better response to our complaints.
In fact, junior high school 2 pupils had demonstrated over inadequate classrooms just before the last basic education certificate examination.
I was teaching mathematics, and I don't know, some boys were making noise at the back, so I tried to find out why they were making noise, and they were complaining of the weather. So I said, oh, but this has been our situation, so they should just, no, they cannot continue. They've even heard the Form 3s will be moving to Bongo to write their final exam, so I should stop teaching. They will not learn again. They are going to the headmaster.
The assembly says it is unable to raise funds immediately to put up structures.
I'm sure you would have seen some schools that still sit under trees. Kansingwe is one. We are working assiduously to see how we can channel our resources into education. The money isn't there, and we don't know when the money will come. So what we ought to do is to work within our local resources. That is why we need to improve upon our IGF. We need to task the people. We need to call on our citizens, those Bongo people who are outside, to come to our aid.
The Bongo district is also striving at getting furniture to fix the over 6,000 deficit schools in the district are faced with. The assembly is appealing for support to improve education.
Just moving like this, it doesn't come down. Very good. That is a very good suggestion.
Well, let's head over to the Ashanti region, where danger looms along the Biposo-Ankasi Road in the Bosomtwe district, following reports of fallen rocks off the cliff. Larger rocks have become unstable and could fall anytime. Here's a report by Benjamin Adu.
The news team's visit to the area revealed a small part of the rock had fallen on the side of the road. Some communities along the lake Bosomtwe, including Biposo, Ankasi, Ajamam, Duase and Amakum, would be cut off should the worst happen. This bridge is also caving in and posing danger to road users. The recent rains have also caused havoc to the entire stretch. Health service delivery is adversely affected as motorbikes become the only means of transportation. A pregnant woman reportedly lost her unborn baby last week as a result of delayed transportation to the Amakom Health Center. The chief of Ankasi, Nana Kojo Edusei, appealed to government to come to their aid.
Traders are unable to bring their goods to Ankasi from either Konongo or Kumasi due to the poor state of the road. As a result, they often have to hire the young people in the area to carry the goods to the town.
The assembly member for Ankasi, Sharon Mensah, says it is time for people in the area to receive a fair share of infrastructural development.
We have a clinic here, which is supposed to have been upgraded into a hospital, but because of the bad nature of the road, it has remained a clinic.
Other community leaders expressed disappointment in government and threatened to demonstrate if the road and fallen rocks are not fixed.
It has taken a long time for this road to get to this state. We can't wait any longer.
Regional Minister of Bosomtwe, NPP, Regional Chairman of Bosomtwe,
the Ashanti Regional Minister, the NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman, and the MP for Bosomtwe all come from this area, yet this road is in a sorry state.
Road users have been cautioned to desist from plying the stretch until the Department of Feeder Roads steps in to avert any disaster.
Well, let's head to the health sector, where the Ghana Medical Association has threatened to withdraw outpatient services at public health facilities from Monday, August 6, if government fails to honor outstanding payments due its members within 1 week. President of the association, Dr. Frank Ankobia, issued the threat at the 4th National Executive Council meeting at Jirpa in the Upper West region. Here's a report by Yakubu Abdul Ghaffar.
In a communique issued by the association at the end of its 60th anniversary celebrations, President of the association outlined a roadmap of its intended action. He said members in the public sector would withdraw all emergency services from August 20 if their demands were not met, and a withdrawal of all services by Monday, August 27, if the issues were unresolved by the time.
A one-week window is hereby offered the Ministry of Health, and for that matter, government, to resolve all these outstanding issues. If by 18 hours GMT on August 5th, 2018, all the issues have not been completely resolved by government, then the following set of activities will kickstart. Effective Monday, August 6th, 2018, all doctors working in the public sector shall withdraw outpatient services. This would continue till Sunday, 19th of August, 2018.
According to Dr. Ankobia, the association had earlier in November 2017 given government up to the end of April 2018 to honor its obligation towards its members following a compulsory arbitration by the National Labour Commission. He attributed outstanding debts owed by government towards members of the association to reduced pensions following the migration onto the single spine pay policy, with the unpaid conversion difference since December 2011.
The Ghana Medical Association bemoans the inequitable distribution of critical healthcare staff, which has resulted in most deprived communities in Ghana not receiving the desired standard of care.
The association further requested the National Health Insurance Authority to suspend all non-core expenditure on the Health Ministry and parliamentarians with immediate effect. It also urged government to ensure direct transfer of the National Health Insurance Levy to the NHIL account and not through the consolidated account.
In the light of the current financial challenges facing the National Health Insurance Authority, NHIE, and the GMA being mindful of the legal requirements of the NHIE to offer financial support to its partners like the Ministry of Health and Parliament, recommends that these non-core expenditures should be suspended.
Dr. Ankobia indicated the association would continue to give updates to its members and the general public on any development.
Now let's go to the Tano North and South districts of the Bonahafa region, where more than 2,000 electricity poles remain locked up in remote farming communities in the Kwamisa Forest Reserve. Torrential rains have rendered major roads in the area unmotorable, creating anxiety among teak farmers whose harvested trees are going bad.
A visit to the area by our news team revealed the only access road to farmlands is a 30-kilometer narrow stretch, which has been reduced to an impassable slurry. Vehicles had been stuck in the mud for days, and for others even weeks. Not even these four-wheel drives could maneuver their way through unaided. Residents bear the brunt of the deplorable roads in communities like Derma and Jatokrum. The worst affected are teak farmers who cannot transport their harvest poles for the Rural Electrification Project. Members were allocated 5,200 hectares of the degraded Kwamisa Forest Reserve to plant teak as part of government's afforestation drive. They were also to plant food crops including plantain, maize and vegetables to support their finances. Members of the Forest Plantation Development Fund Management Board of the Forestry Commission on the fact-finding mission had to cut short their visit due to the poor road network.
We have all seen the road, very bad, terrible road. And just like we have cocoa roads, we also need to start thinking about investment into forest roads. So I think the board we have taken notice of that. We are going to sit down and think through and see what strategies we can come up with.
Member of Parliament's Select Committee on Lands and Natural Resources, Dr. Emmanuel Marfo,
plantation.
Commended the private plantation developers and called for steps to address bureaucratic bottlenecks in the acquisition of permits from the Forestry Commission to attract more people into teak cultivation. President of PADO, George Asamoah Mankwa, outlined challenges facing members.
Even though we don't have good market for the product that we're planting here, but to harvest them also become a very challenge, because we had a program with the Forest Commission about 6 months ago, from January till to date, that we intend to harvest some of our products and then sell. Till to date, we are still struggling for permit and other necessary documents that can help us to take them for market.
A former Deputy Minister of Lands, Ejay Yeboah, appealed to government to stop the importation of electric poles and rely on local plantation developers.
What we have done, like the board has seen, is something. Maybe the health of the plantation isn't as they might want it. But then, if they were to have offered the technical advice and support that the contract between us and them indicated, I'm sure we might have actually got somewhere.
PADO has over 152 members made up of 110 males and 42 females. Each member cultivates an average of 100 hectares of degraded forest reserve granted by the Forestry Commission.
Now, TV3 and Star Ghana's mission continues to achieve results in the Bongo district of the Upper East region. In October last year, when the team first visited the area, open defecation was a challenge the assembly was battling, but by May, the assembly was almost through with some sanitary facilities to end the menace. Brighton Anfo reports.
If you provide this KVIP to you, the people will stop open defecation. They'll stop rushing to the farmlands to do it.
This was a groundbreaking ceremony. A poor flush toilet was to be built for Zoko, one of the communities in the district. Open defecation was common.
This old one, it is the estate where nobody wants to use it because it is not being taken care of, it is spoiled, and the place doesn't look nice at all.
Residents had no place of convenience and so did it anywhere. This was an old toilet facility. It was an eyesore. The health of the people was at risk. The assembly acted.
Executing this project. So within 3 months, we have a toilet facility in the Zoko market.
This was in January 2017. The assembly member for the Zoko electoral area was happy the project has come at the right time.
We are so grateful, and we want to pledge that this facility, if put, we'll utilize it judiciously, and we'll make sure that we also help in maintaining it as well.
The assembly did not stop there. Several other KVIPs and poor flush toilets were handed over to contractors. By May 2018, some of the facilities were at completion stages. At Bongo Soy Market, another poor flush toilet was awarded to a contractor and was at an advanced stage. Market women, community members and visitors who will come to the area will use the facility.
The Bongo district became 5th during the 2017 league table displayed by UNICEF, and we think that 5th is not an enviable position. We want to climb to the top, so we are doing everything possible, including a relaunch of an open defecation campaign we did some time ago, so that we involve the chiefs, the unit committee members, other opinion leaders, the market women, the youth groups, so that everybody would know that we want to end open defecation.
This is the old toilet. The new toilet facility is mechanized to ensure regular supply of water. The assembly says 6 more of these poor flush toilets will soon be opened to stop open defecation. Authorities of the Bongo district say health is key to speeding up development.
And that's our wrap-up news for this morning. New Day returns shortly after the break.
Welcome back. Now let's look at the front pages of the dailies. The Daily Guide this morning says MPs approve 2 billion Chinese deal for roads and railways. Law school exams leaked, and UMB foils cyber attack. Banner headline: Betty defends Woyumi, 51 million Ghana cedis fraud. Those are the front page stories of the Daily Guide newspaper. The Ghanaian Times this morning says, I'll stamp out Galamsey. President vows as he seeks to eradicate illegal mining in the country. A Merry Deal amendment suspended. VRA staff ASAP kicks against it. And prisoners' corps seized for 1 year over outstanding medical bills. Interesting. Work to commence on the 37.7 million euro water project in the Upper East region. Interesting, isn't it? The Catholic bishops fight corruption. That is the screaming headline on the front page of the Daily Graphic. 16-page Greater Work supplement inside. It starts today, I'm told, by the ICGC. UMB averts cyber attack, and Graphic Business Stanbic meeting comes off tomorrow. Victims of human trafficking get state shelter. President allays fears about double intake. That is there. The Finder newspaper says CID stops 326 million Ghana cedis bank theft. Arrests 12 suspects of a cybercrime syndicate. Nothing will stop free SHS. That's according to President Akufo-Addo. And ASAP VRA senior staff kick against new Ameri deal. Law school questions and marking scheme leaked. Save collapsing oil palm industry. Producers to government. And finally, the BNFT for this morning, the 30th of July, says Atachia proposes $90 billion infrastructure bond. And Bank of Ghana records 1.6 billion Ghana cedis loss as banking sector's challenges bite. Guta accuses government of backstabbing. There you have it. Those are the front page stories. But yesterday I saw a statement from the Nigerian Traders Association, seeming to want to coax government into buy into the whole ECOWAS idea and saying that Ghana and Nigeria might see themselves as big brothers in the ECOWAS sub-region, and so they must lead by example. And this is my simple response to them. Until the laws are amended, the laws must be respected. In fact, the ECOWAS protocols that we have, there's no law that must be, at variance to the ECOWAS protocols. Similarly, the ECOWAS protocols cannot come and override what laws you have here. The laws are simple. Retail business is for our people. So if I have a brother, a sister, a cousin, or whatever it is, and I cross the street to go and buy MTN credit or Vodafone credit from Fatih out there, that's retail business. I'm helping her to survive, to feed her children, to take care of herself. She's a widow, of course. So why must somebody who is not originally supposed to be benefiting from that be the one who's taking that? And then you tell me that we should see ourselves as big brothers of any country that loses the retail market has lost it. Once you lose your retail market to foreigners, you have lost it, because the retail market is for those who cannot wear suit and tie, those who cannot earn the big bucks, so they can get their nokofio, bibi kakra to turn around. Now you're taking that and you're telling us to see ourselves as what? Big brothers in ECOWAS, big brothers who can take care of their own.
And so, Jenny,
come on.
That is where I am sad, because for the Ministry of Trade and Industry to suggest that the directive, we're told that 27th July would have been the day that these foreigners were supposed to have left our markets, and that the ministry says that let us hold on that directive and go into more education and sensitization. That's where my worry is, because look, this law was not made today, it was not made yesterday. As far as I am concerned, even under Mr. Kufuor, way back, former President Kufuor, this issue of foreigners in retail trade was an issue, a big one, a worry to our local traders. under Mr. Mahama, it was, under Professor Mills, it was. And every government had tried hard to get these properly resolved, and it doesn't work. Now, if we have come to a point where some consensus has been agreed on that, look, let us get them out by this date. Okay. And then just a few days to the build-up, you turn around and say, we are stopping this, we want to educate and sensitize. What are you going to educate? How are you going to educate? For me, like you said, it's
the laws are clear, and I don't know why it becomes so easy because of ECOWAS for everybody to just wake up and challenge the Ghana government. I found that statement written by the Nigerian community. It was signed by a lawyer. You know, I think I have it here. Sometime in the show, I'll push it out. I found the language far too strong, because if you're begging, you don't beg with strong language. And look, to know that for him as a lawyer, he should have known that he was on the wrong side of the law.
Exactly.
You're on the wrong side of the law. The law is clear. It says retail business is for indigents. So if the people are not indigents and they are selling pure water, they are selling cocoa and bread, they are selling kenke and fish, they are selling all of those things, and you say that, well, we should see ourselves as big brothers in the West African sub-region, so we should allow them. Come on. I beg your pardon. Okay. Good morning to Minister for Trade, Mr. Alan Trematin. This is important. If a country loses its retail market, you have lost it. Bear that in mind. And we're asking the question, is politics enough grounds for people to defame others? The wife of the late vice president had a few words to share. Let's go to Takrady. Eric is standing by.
It is really Ghana. Are all these people in Ghana, because they're maligning the lies, the treachery, the wickedness, they're deliberately changing things so that we look better than the others, the mischievousness. As this Ghana, did people really get the time to know my husband? Did they take their time to know him really well? The false allegations, these were the heart-wrenching words of the wife of the late vice president, Kwesi Bekui Emisartha, Matilda Emisartha, as the mortal remains of her husband was being laid to a perpetual rest. This morning on Daily Rant, we want to find out whether politics should be good enough a reason for us to go at each other, even when you don't know anything about the person you are directing the insult at. Has this society become so hypocritical that we tend to speak good of a person only when he or she is no more? This is your Daily Rant. Apome. In some American. Edwin Woden.
She was very emotional because we share our video. No, now we can separate the two, taking the baby out of the bath water. But mean politics, it is ongoing. The venomous and acidic mouth. Just because in Pakura, no former why in there, or the ways to put us on Ghana. Now, Sasha, within a political party and after the massacre, what wasn't said about President Kufuor when he wanted to serve Mother Ghana? Within his own party, outside his own party. What was said against Chairman Rawlings, who then became a president? What was said within his own party and outside his own party? Oh yeah, Professor J. Mills. What was said within his party, what was said outside his political party? Intermediate said, oh yeah, in this country, if you want to offer yourself to the service of this nation, and your individuals are, what more can one? Yes, your competence must be criticized. Your performance must be criticized. But it shouldn't come to your person or your personality. I remember what Dr. Papa Kwesundu Moken. Also, the people to my soul, and the woman are very fine. What about 839? No, therefore, my friend will be a court to venom. And I don't think that as a country, you're able to me a Kodamane, and when your door, when your pedal was so man, you took me at the union to form. Whether we like it or not, GM is an ex-president. Whether we like it or not, President Kufuor is an ex-president. Whether we like it or not, Amampin Kufuor is an ex-president. You need to undo these things in the history of Ghana. It's your best say, me be in the same political ideology. And in Chess said, the personality, Ni fiensem, the view on your call, Nimba Corner, them in the Boko, or yeah, a Frido, Namu Guipokunima, yeah, Dama, Yambo, yeah, Dama, we're not going to get good people to run the affairs of this country.
But why is it so? I mean, your mind, you know, I didn't feed the Daminaman Okor.
Yeah, me getting that, me information man, me the Maya, media houses, no. Because, yes, because Sabi Mbekwe said, Sebi, for my Kinama Mankasa, Mutumka in some Fumbi Mobisum Jebe. And the character na make canasa man until they are I mean bravo in them TV3 Makali in your people know some to them. It's the media play very key role. It's a time I don't want blacklist individuals working at acidic and venomous one. So that then they bring a good people about to have wakasa about Uncle Faku. About to be I've been to share politics.
But the mic it is not a guarantee that or there you go attacking people when even you don't have facts.
Sometimes I had a billboard program that I should no morty. Nitty winya, and you should do the kind of respect or command in the society. Now go for one name. Mijin the bed or quad day, Sebio at the market man. Sebio no, on the winya, TV dollar cassentino. Sebina and some unself patado, no car. Edetia, I'm a Kubini Paymbia or the Mijin about you because him not so long for them to see our family. But politics here and there, or there, you can send me the Gubina in Yama, yeah, them so alumboa, can't you done the Abanadi.
Munia, I know quite now. Tidama, my brother, came. The man of fortune, or command, especially in Babuna, ya, my samno. Now, I am a bit some there. Over the Pempen should be a young Crawford papa. 1 year, why I read that was serve one nation in a very different ways, various different ways, but why chief excellence in their various workplace. Now, you're about to suffer on one by a man, one bar, because what bar? May say been what describing one wash one hour what can send me to wonder no as of him. Them na yamba part we know Osi Wagana. Instead you feel the butum ye bibi was sayan way of yadia young politics. Yamba part every summer both political sides work of no. Now that's the dear ye did for no. Okapen then na yamba pa misata so on your chance of serving na in summer ye care for no. I had the opportunity to be with him. The first political appointment time was sworn in as vice president. Me in the Western region. And when you see the nature of Yambape Misata, now in summer, especially the certain vice president, in summer, somebody even hold a position. I will able hold in be. Na can some the Madufanoa. Na you na se we na yaba can some both political side. Yaba can sembia. I dem Ocean Crawford win your pedal over some woman Ghana no. Och one son. This is
I'm politicians. I don't know what abandama.
Now you can once I make a day and baby yes to do a mayasum. We need to change the face of our politics. Now you 2 years sons that may be man Crawford for a waped when ya pay what they have ordered some woman. What to swap a besham the ma won yabadu. As some there. Or there couldn't be the mafia conbid number 7 and couldn't to me the Benyakon. To them are many Ghana, Ghana of womb, no corner, and this a man what catch a man, able man, ya catch a Ghana for no corner, because in summer MPP a Mayoku, Dr. Baomiana, certain president, what kind, what policies in a corner for the Yadian Zamano, Yadian Zamano. Essential and there, the difference between the MPP and NDC. Talk of American.
NDC Wakaya Wabim. You see, we are criticizing them on their poor performance, their incompetence. On your bad, Abasan Wakaya Wabim. So what do I say? Because your life,
no quarrel me there. Look at the American deal. The sitting vice president made it known to Ghanaians that it is an act of corruption. The American deal. Now, this same government are in government, and they are now even renegotiating at a very high cost. NDC time 5 years for $500 million. Now it is over $1.3 billion.
But in Tochede, is it a case that politicians you lie your way into power?
That is what has happened. The MPP always lie their way to power,
and the reality lie our way to power. You see, Nanado. All can match also they are promising before the Ghanaian people no. Or make sure he deliver. Because that is the social contract.
Example is the free SHS.
Ghana NDC
free
SHS. More mean free SHS no. in 20 years time, Western region. Also in 20 years time,
Ghana framers of the 1992 Constitution.
When you give us the power today, we are going to activate 3 SHS. And inside,
I don't have any problem with that.
What we have done is that as a government, we are beginning to think outside the box. Now, actually, this is one I don't know. About the first in the cut-off point was 48. Yeah, no, because you see, we give credit to the NDC people because one was the rewrite of the BEC, what they made. It's the rewrite of the BEC.
Why is it that when you're there, what customer you don't want to me yet? No, why yet?
No, but Ian MP before no, we have the can-do state, and we think outside the box.
Fine.
That is why you want to track system.
I don't blame the MPP. I don't necessarily blame the MPP because they were not part of the framers framing the 1992 Constitution. It is very clear and explicit on the 1992 Constitution there. Obodrum baby, a progressively free education in Ghana ha. Ghana for there. We will do it progressively because of the infrastructure first. Now, why this double track system? Because lack of infrastructure, lack of a classroom block.
200 day school building, maybe one now. Now, we do my no to year 23 was funded by a bank of that's World Bank.
We completed 46.
I mean, so I want politicians see. I ain't imagine what they're going to be.
We completed 46 before we hand over the first project to them. But
there's no way.
So you are very much
a lot of school then.
1.5 years of this administration. What stopped them from doing infrastructure works? What stopped them from doing infrastructure works?
That's why
1.5 years. Your major flagship project.
Young politics you're practicing war, Ghana.
I mean, there. It's about there. You better make sure you get the right people in power, like MPP or power, no. Because we'll make sure we do it so that Ghanaians can respect. Because I mean, a platform, don't make a say. It's been better. More community be my catch on to about from Mama Yokunu. Now, some of you catch on. You to me, that to boost confidence is there for them to go and queue and vote for my party again.
These people think that we are still in the campaign mood. The campaign is over. The realities are setting. Ghana fu when some kind na den zamana me kwana for the zama free SHS in some kind NDC John Dramani Mama is vindicated and that na mo nursing training college what takwada ade menye mo from an chain organization program bisa one there mo from an one sack allowance na ekrem there dem one they are not getting it and now you are even causing problem for this mo from because I want for them that we school oben allowance abaka magana fu na charge them there I store allowance, but you are not giving the money to them.
We have restored it.
When was the last time you paid them?
Let's come back to track. In CCR, look at what is happening with the wife, as in somehow a late vice president, no wife, Okase. A situation open them and who the good people are unyanka over politics because of in summer working in Sino, they will lay back. They will lose.
Yeah, within your party are the most dangerous. Yeah. So Billy Kutia, one can say America, one can say woman, and all yours in there. If you be any share the same political ideology, all Kutia.
My major problem when it comes to this question you asked is the civil society, the priesthood, then the imams who were bold to check NDC in government, criticizing NDC. What has happened to Ghana now? They have suddenly gone quiet. They seem not concerned about the hardship Ghanaians are going through.
What hardship?
Massa, you know it, because you are on set, you don't want to say the truth. You know how Ghanaians are suffering. The businesses are collapsing. The businesses are collapsing. So we want true Ghanaians to be bold to tell this government that certain things that you are doing, you have to liberate the Ghanaians.
Went into darkness. Because when you and your man didn't find your Juma, you don't make them. Yes, it's
Ghanaians should be bold to tell whoever is in government, irrespective of the
But Sisiano, are you happy with the insult? Even though are you happy?
No, I mean I will say on your dame mabomi no maka nsamatia peyin bia na menya kwa na mitipa na bi ohwemase because me gidi de wan for the man tetem na me gidi so bi nyu ya adwo amayekuma oye edetum exercise ni weakness ni incompetence ni poor performance oye de be for ni bia bi a no school wa akọ anadwuma bi anamfum di oba ya dachi bi oba so mko na afa na da ba kofi kase du na ebo dama ye nya tiram brother ke ye nya nkofo a se bi wo nyimdi wo amda so so because samba bere se baka kamo se baguma yi masa then I have to stay somewhere na man mu na de ye gbo na abro
today my canara no especially and I am be say yan day in summer year no some time to come yet now will play back to us are we going to be happy example say any number na ye na ebusua tina ho na nsem be ya ka afa obi no na wo bokyiran are we going to be happy? Are we the Christians or the Muslims? We always go to the mosque and the churches. You see, the mayor that they had to announce during the mayor ye biara no nkonte wo mayor na chinebi the yebaka for bi no wonder no e chine so bi baka bi afa yan nti say yan mbrente na ngete say ya asase ya man yesam. Let us stay in the issues. Basically on the issues, Nimpakunu do obotumaye, the went to my but ye ba for kwan bi na ya kan someone ya no kwara ka bi no do. Even put to the extent that ye be sharoba. What have we seen? These people who were on social media insulting your mama, they rewarded them with appointment. Over 1,000 people at the presidency. Now it will encourage other people to also come and insult.
Ministers and deputy ministers. You go for money abo. When you go for staff into academy, what meaning you
then how you are now in government?
$200.
This type of politics.
As a society, are we becoming hypocritical that
fine word Ghana fu ya yatwem acher ye biare bo twere manyimpa na onyi wiaze mu na ya akwa nsam pi afano na ya kansa papa let us be truthful let us show the love the care the hard worker why is it ye ma hu there why be papa na sabi anya na yin na chi no ya question sama men but ebo there even in your political party obi o wa sabi why adwuma or good or ejuma not because my personal against I mean and the young queen on why in the minister why and the minister many young queen other way in them wine and them see a quite be the man can some friends no and a typical example and I will not miss it our former president John Rawlings he opened the Pandora box for the insult on
it's a lie. You many you simply not karma meaning yadin sabotcha na kasa the political party or you wanting God with General Mosquito. I describe it. I'm paying that. I'm putting the moon to be I see. I don't want to use it on a TV. Nakasa ya aware. It's beginning there. Nakasa no insult is not good. Yenya no ayade. Someone can see going forward. The media no so I'm catch one. One more.
We play a very key role.
The media play a key role, but the media cannot control the words that will come out from your man. You have to assess yourself and know what you are doing. Ask yourself tomorrow.
Okay, so this is your daily rant. I'm sure you've heard the comments from my panel members that they've all agreed that insults must not have a place in our body politicking. You can go onto our various social media platforms and join the conversation. This has been your daily rant with me, Eric Yawode from Takrade in the Western region. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us.
Right. The Times this morning says that I will stamp out Galamsey. President vows as he seeks to eradicate illegal mining in the country. That's on the Times. The Mary Deal amendment suspended is also captured by the Times. Daily Guide, Betty defends Woyome 51 million CD fraud. It's here. MPs approve $2 billion Chinese deal for roads and railways. The finder, CID stops 326 million CD bank theft. 12 persons have been arrested. We're told they are members of a cyber crime syndicate. The Catholic bishops fight corruption. That's the caption of Daily Graphic. And President Ali's fears about double intake The BNFT, Bank of Ghana, records 1.6 billion cedi loss as banking sector's challenges bite. Those are the big stories this morning on some of the news. My guest this morning, the Member of Parliament for the Adaklu constituency, is a member of the NDC. Honorable Kwame Agboja is here. Kwame, good morning.
Good morning, Bright.
Hope you're doing great.
I'm doing great.
Thanks for your time. We're still waiting for a rep from the NPP. But let's start the conversation this morning with this. Parliament could not deal with the Mary deal on Saturday. That's the story in the Times. Parliament on Saturday could not consider the amendment of the Africa Middle East Resources Investments Group. That's their Mary deal before it went on recess. The decision to defer the LI on the deal to a later day, the majority leader explained, was because the request for further information about the deal was critical. Government last Wednesday filed a paper in Parliament seeking to terminate the controversial £510 million deal with the Dubai firm, an action which has been met with opposition. Meanwhile, we're told that VRA officials said they vehemently opposed to the termination of the deal with Mary. The story has several other angles. VRA, TUC, suggesting that if the deal is approved, that's a new deal, it will bring hardship to the people of Ghana. Kwame, let's start from here. So, this deal couldn't get that approval from the House, the renegotiated deal, to put it that way. What were some of the key reasons why perhaps this deal should not be allowed to go through?
Well, good morning, Bright, and good morning to your cherished viewers, especially those from the Adaklu constituency. Bright, President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia, through their minister responsible for energy, brought a bill to Parliament to basically do the unthinkable. You know, the Ameri plant and others came as what we call the emergency plant when our power generation problems were at its peak.
Right.
So we went into these things to, as quickly as possible, get a reliable developer to make the necessary investment to generate electricity as quickly as possible. So it must be put into context as to when we needed this. So it's not like we got it when we in a climate like this when we don't have problem. Right. Indeed, if you were to do that today, probably you would do it in a slightly different way. So the context matters. And Bright, the unthinkable I mentioned start from here. In about 2 years' time, Ghana was going to own the entire plant. Free. We don't have to pay even $1 extra apart from what we have already committed to do in 2 years. Right. We own the whole thing, so we can run it as we wish. Strangely, this government, like I said, President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia, thinking and on the back of all the noise they made about this deal was for somebody, this deal of, there was something wrong, has sought to make it 100 times worse. What they sought to do is to ignore the fact that we are going to own this in 2 years' time for free. They rather went to do a new deal, to add some money. Some of us have been talking about it. Add some $1 to each megawatt. And for the next 15 years, somebody is going to be pocketing $75 million for free. And to extend this for the next 15 years. It's about just like you almost fighting for independence, and they tell you you get independence in 2 years' time. So you're going to do a deal with your the person who is keeping you captive to stay in captivity for the next 15 years. It makes absolutely no sense. This is the most ridiculous. This is not one of the things you say that, we did it so that we can prolong the repayment period and other thing. It makes no sense. In fact, I haven't met anybody yet. They will bring it back. Simply because... It
has to come back to the House.
No, it doesn't have to. It will only come back because somebody is meant on fleecing Ghanaians $75 million a year. Why do I say this? If we are in 2018 by 2020 thereabout, the thing will be ours. The power situation has stabilized. We are paying Ameri from the electricity bills and other things and other arrangements we have made. There's no need to look for extra money anywhere. So government can't say that they are under any pressure anyway. So they will bring it back again simply because they were in a rush to sweep this under the carpet. And unfortunately, our colleagues on the Energy Committee demanded some documentation which they didn't bring.
They couldn't provide.
They couldn't provide. And some of those documentation are basic documents. Maybe they thought maybe we're not going to be diligent enough. So they would have, so left to the NPP and President Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, this would have been done as well over the week.
Government claimed that the renegotiated deal reduces the cost of a kilowatt of electricity. Is that plausible? Is it an argument one could be talking about?
If they like, let's put this to the vote to the people of Ghana, that what you are paying now, within 2 years, we'll own it, we'll own the plant ourselves.
At what we are paying now?
At the rate we are paying now. And when we own it, we can decide to even make you free, give you electricity free in 2 years. And to say that we'll reduce it slightly and actually extend what you are paying for the next 15 years. And let's see what Ghanaians will say. I know the average Ghanaian will say, if it's 2 years, we are ready to maintain this for 2 years. And when we finish paying, we can decide how much we pay. That is more progressive. But this is not about reducing burden on the consumer. This is about getting somebody the opportunity to pocket $75 million every year. And that is what it is. There's nothing more than that.
For the minority, the demand for the documents means that the renegotiated deal is not a done deal.
Well, even if they bring, and they will bring some document, and I'm told by on 10th of September, they will recall Parliament, and they will bring all these things back in, provide some document. They will do it. What haven't they done before? Kelly, GVG, whatever. They will do it simply because they have majority in Parliament.
Right.
So this is not about democracy. This is about, look, who would argue if this was going to inure to the benefit of the people? If this was going to be a situation where Ghana pays less? You said something was $510 million dollars, and you said you made the whole world believe that is ridiculous. Now you want to extend it to over $1 billion. Ridiculous. Ghanaians must begin to speak about these things. This is not about good governance. This is about absurdity at its peak.
Right. Wait and see what happens on September 10 when the documents are provided. Now, let's also touch briefly on this one. If you take to the Daily Graphic this morning, on page 16, the Ghana Medical Association has served notice that that's a one-week ultimatum for government to pay allowances due them. Otherwise, they will withdraw outpatient services from Monday, August 6. Now, they have also threatened to withdraw all emergency services from August 20 should the government fail to honor its obligation to them. The doctors have also resolved to escalate their concerns by withdrawing all services in public facilities from Monday, August 27, if the issues are not resolved. Now, this was at the Executive Council meeting at Jirapa in the Upper West Region. The meeting also marked the end of the 60th anniversary lecture of the association. So, a couple of issues were raised, one of which also said that they called on government, on the National Health Insurance Authority, to suspend all non-core expenditures on MPs and the Ministry of Health with immediate effect. It also charged the government to ensure direct transfer of NHI levy into the NHIL account and not the current consolidated account. All right, so let's start the conversation. So twofold, stopping non-core activities, expenditures, and then the doctors threatening because they claim that certain allowances due them, which they have agreed and with government to be paid 2 years on, is still not paid. The single spine pay policy, we're told the conversion has made them poorer because doctors their pensions have reduced. And that's the story from the Ghana Medical Association. Kwame, we're back to this doctors strike again. The doctors are claiming that agreement that they signed, sealed with government, is yet to be agreed. In fact, Labour Commission, they are faulting Labour Commission because Labour Commission brought in arbitration. There was an agreement, and yet the employer has failed to agree or to do its part of the work. We're likely to see them go on strike. Should we be overly worried about this?
Well, Bright, on principle, I've spoken against this before when we were even in government, so I'll speak the same way. I think it is wrong for any professional, especially the core professionals like medical doctors, to withdraw services based on the fact that they have disagreement with government. I believe that when you withdraw services, for instance, a doctor decides not to attend to emergency or attend to a ward and somebody passes, by the time the issue is resolved, you can't bring the person back. Right. So on principle, I've been against that and I'm still against it. But you see, they may have a point. And this is where it becomes a bit of a place for me to depart. I know the country has got problems with money, not because there's no money, but because of the misplaced priorities of the current government. When you have a situation where, in fact, and on record, the finance ministry is telling us that they've collected about 16% more revenue in 2017, or than in 2016. So it is not the case that we don't have how do you call it, money at all to do the things we needed to do. It's pure decision of government to do that. Now, when NHIS, the finance minister takes, let's say, 900 million Ghana cedi out of the allocation for NHIS through the Capping Act, and then goes further to say they should use a significant amount of money left to them to pay nurses training allowance, I would have said it would have been better for government to see to the needs of the doctors than paying nurses training allowance. So if the doctors say they have gotten an agreement signed and sealed that you pay us this allowance, so we will continue serving the people, and you have decided to substitute that agreement to pay nurses training allowance, I say that is your choice. So because you have money, you said you pay nurses training allowance, find the money and pay the doctors. So whilst I'm against doctors withdrawing their services,
so essential services,
I say that government have got ability to pay the doctors. In any case, the 900 million that they've taken from NHIS, I'm sure the doctors' allowances is not up to 900 million Ghana cedi. I am sure the nurses training allowance could have, if I were to be in government, I would have said, pay doctors allowances so that they are work, and let nurses trainee go and take a student loan or give them any other bursaries that you wish. So you cannot take away money from core service providers and give it to trainees and expect them to be at work. So, but the last thing I will say is this. I would encourage the Fair Wages, the government and the Ministry of Labour to dialogue further with the doctors. Right. We should not leave this and just assume that the strike will come anyway, because I've spoken against it in the past. I still believe it is wrong for doctors to withdraw their services. However, it is the government that brought this onto themselves. It is not because we don't have money. It is a priority of government not to pay them, rather pay necessary training allowance and also take 900 million out of, how do you call it, NHIS fund to the bigger pot and spend it the way they like.
I'm grateful. Member of Parliament for the Daklu constituency. Let me introduce my second guest, Member of Parliament for the Futu constituency, a member of the NPP, Honorable Alexander Fenyomakin is here. Good morning.
Right morning.
Hope you're doing great.
Oh, by grace. It's been a stressful weekend, but finally we're here. And my apologies for not being with you.
Right, thanks for joining us eventually. You've been away for some time. We're wrapping up on the doctors threatening to withdraw their services. I mean, their concern is that they have agreed and signed a deal with government. They went as far as arbitration. They have done their part. Their employer has failed to do its part. Now, are we going to go back to the doctors going on strike again? Kwame thinks that, well, it's not too good for doctors to go on strike.
Right, right. Thank you. I agree with him on the position he took on the doctors staying in the hospitals, working and still negotiating. The fact that they provide essential services, the law itself injuncts any attempt of declaring a strike. However, I also think that government has demonstrated good faith in all these negotiations, and I don't think that government will back down on any effort at resolving the matter. So let's encourage them to still see the need to the outcome of negotiations and stay on course rather than the threat. The question is, at what point did government agree to settle matters with them or agree on this arbitration? You see, sometimes one is compelled to be political, and it's so because you have people you engage in a debate with who are petty and would never want to deal with issues. We've seen this before in the NDC time. Were they able to get into a proper settlement of these issues? But this government has committed itself into getting this thing done. Yet you have someone arguing with some force that, oh, the nursing training allowances should not have been restored. The many youths who are in our nursing training institutions, whose parents cannot afford, who were complaining bitterly, who are now getting their support. What the NDC government opposition is saying is that they should continue to suffer. So now providing such support for those at the lowest ebb of fortune's wheel, the NDC is saying that though they are social democrats, we don't need to support them. Well, we will continue to support because it was a campaign promise. We will deliver. At the same time, effort will be made at resolving this matter. We will not sit unconcerned for doctors to go on strike. No, it will not happen.
Okay, all right. Let's move on to the Daily Guide this morning. On page 10, there's a story followed from the sittings of Parliament yesterday. That's on page 8. Let's quickly deal with your work from the House over the weekend. Now, we're told that Parliament on Saturday approved a $2 billion master project support agreement for improvement in rural electrification, construction of roads, hospitals, affordable houses, interchanges, bridges, fishing landing sites, and other infrastructural projects. Now, the MPSA, according to Daily Guide, is a barter agreement with barter in quote between the government and Sino-Hydro Corporation Limited of China that would allow the company to execute those projects for Ghana while the government repays with refined bauxite. NDC strongly opposes the agreement, saying that the MPP is using the country's bauxite reserves as a guarantee to go for that huge loan. The minority leader Haruna Idrisu said everything about the agreement appears to be a loan as contained in Article 181, Clause 6 of the Constitution. Now, the NPP MP for Efutu, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, lambasted the minority for their stance against the proposed barter agreement, which he said would significantly help to bridge the gap, the infrastructural gap. He said the agreement is just like the car power agreement entered into by the previous NDC. Mr. Markin said the intention of the government is to add value to the country's raw bauxite resources and also develop the country's infrastructure and help create jobs. This is where the problem is. Honorable Afenyo-Markin, let me start the conversation with you now. So, is the problem one of whether the project is a loan or a barter? Is that the problem?
Well, sometimes in politics, some of these things are good for democracy. So I mean, no problem. But on a more serious note, the government acted within the remit of the Constitution by bringing the entire agreement to Parliament under Article 181. The government's position is that this is an international commercial transaction. This is a transaction. Which transaction will require some trade-offs, and eventually would have to use alumina or aluminium to pay for projects that will be executed. The NDC's position is that, look, whichever way you look at it, it is a loan. So why don't you state that it is a loan? They are not saying we've acted unconstitutionally. They've not said so. They have not said so. They are only saying that we should call it a loan instead of a transaction. I don't see their problem. And that is why I drew the attention to the car power situation. You see, sometimes politics is good.
Is it a loan?
My position is that it's a transaction. It's not a loan. Because this matter has been settled by the Supreme Court.
Daily Graphic, Daily Guy uses the word batter in quote. I'm
saying that it is a transaction. And the Supreme Court has answered this matter for us in the Dr. Esibe Yeboah case. Okay. In Esibe Yeboah, we went to court, all right? Then the minority, we went to court. Our contention was that the government's undertaking given to GMPC on behalf of ECG for car power to bring in that power ship amounted to an undertaking, which undertaking was a residual guarantee. All right? And to that extent, government was a party, and that government would be the ultimate entity with regards to liability.
Right.
Government must therefore bring the matter to the agreement to Parliament. The NDC said no. In fact, in car power, the NDC did not even bring it to Parliament. So, to me, if they themselves go back to read the judgment they won that case 7-0, and they had their handkerchiefs, white handkerchiefs, all over in court. Now this has been established. Today, the same NDC is saying that, look, government is giving a comfort letter. Government is giving some undertaking. And to that extent, this is a loan and all that. We say, no. Let's go by the ruling. Read it. The court said then that don't look at form. That was advice to us as plaintiffs. Don't look at form, look at substance. We are also urging you to look at substance. We are not saying anything different from what the court has said regarding transactions of this nature. It is not a loan that would be in our books as direct liability. It's a structured transaction which will enable the parties in this transaction to trade off. Look, today, Ghana Bauxite, owned by Bozai in Ghana, majority shareholders, they don't declare profit, but they are still there. They mine the raw bauxite to China, sell it to their own parent company at a price that they themselves determine. That is what is happening at Awaso. They don't pay tax because 1995 NDC committed itself to a supposed memorandum of understanding, which memorandum of understanding was to give them some tax breaks. That was never sent to Parliament. So as we speak, the bauxite in Awaso, government of Ghana, Ghanaians, the states, we don't benefit from the bauxite in Awaso. They don't even pay VAT. The Chinese themselves have brought their own trucks hauling for them. What is this new arrangement? This new arrangement is to the extent that, look, our bauxite, we will process it. When you process the ore into a secondary product, its value is determined internationally. So nobody can sit somewhere and tell you that this is the price I'm selling. Alumina is determined internationally. So you know the value. So if that company supporting the project A, project B, Adaklu constituency. Recently, they benefited from some government projects, which he knows. My constituency would need more roads. My constituency would need London Beach. What government is saying is that, look, these entities would do this for us, but at the end of the day, we commit the alumina to, they would buy it, and when we sell to you, you trade off. You will use that to pay for whatever you spent on project A, B, and C.
Okay.
Let me land.
Okay, land.
This is different from how the NDC structured the CDB loan. I heard one of my colleagues talking about the CDB loan and the gas project. I said, look, you decided to go for a direct loan. With direct loan, put in some penalty clauses to the extent that within 3 years that the NDC could not access or draw down the facility, they paid in excess of $300 million to the Chinese financiers just for not being able to access a facility that you have signed onto. This is a different transaction. And if the NDC was smarter, they could have structured that CDB facility as a structured trade facility, which would not be a direct loan and be a liability or would add on to our public debt in its strictest form. So I think that they are failing to appreciate the transaction. I conclude by again citing an example. Going into the commodities market, you having the money and saying that, all right, I want to do direct transfer and pay. Instead of perhaps using a deferred payment instrument or, simply put, letters of credit, which would still keep your liquid down. Maybe if it's an investment, you still have returns on your investment instead of paying direct money because you think you have the money, and then still get the transaction done. So it is their inability to appreciate.
That is why we're in the
the whole transaction. But the bottom line is that we brought it to Parliament under Article 181. 5 of the Constitution.
Let me ask you three quick questions. You can answer yes or no. Was the deal approved by Parliament?
Yes, of course. They were in Parliament. They didn't oppose it.
Okay, so it was approved.
No. Yes, sure. They never opposed it. They sat in Parliament. You know, it was approved by a voice vote. Only one person voted no from their side.
Okay, right.
They concurred.
The second issue is this. Now
you didn't vote no, please. You know it. You didn't vote no. Don't come and say.
Well, he has not spoken.
But the way his facial expression.
I thought you were talking to me.
Well, but I'm also looking at him. Only one person did a no vote from their side. All of them agree.
What if that person was me?
Other one thing
it wasn't you.
Let's quickly finish this. The minority leader
no
is raising one issue here, and that's my second. Now he says, and I quote from the Daily Guide. He said, "What is even more worrying is that since the government cannot quantify the country's bauxite deposit, it has agreed to a condition to top up the amount being requested if the refined bauxite does not accrue that amount." Do we know how much we have in the earth, in the belly of the earth?
You see, feasibility studies have been done, and I'm sure that when eventually the agreement, the exploration agreement under Article 286.
286. Yeah.
Yes. The Constitution provides, if you go to the mining, 268, protecting natural resources. 268. Any transaction, contract, and involving grant or right, to any other person for exploration or any mineral water, other natural resources, Ghana made or entered into after the coming to force shall be subject to ratification by Parliament. This will come to Parliament. The agreement on this will come to Parliament.
Okay.
That would enable us have the full facts and figures. So let's wait for that.
For now, we are not sure of the figures.
2, on the issue of the undertaking, why? Companies, any time you enter into an agreement, any transaction, directors give directors guarantee. The entity would have the undertaking, all right, but directors also give their guarantee or give undertaking. I mean, it is normal in every transaction. So I think that the minority leader would have to hold his horses. This is the agreement that would that has to do with the transaction itself. With regards to the mining activities, that is a separate transaction that would also come to Parliament.
Should we have waited for that agreement before perhaps agreeing to top up if we did not have enough bauxite?
No, I'm saying that generally put, such undertakings, if you look at it in the corporate world, directors would always give that if you go in for a facility or if you engage in any transaction, it's a commitment from the directors.
All right.
You cannot leave it out. It's also for insurance. I mean, sometimes you want to insure a transaction. You can't leave these things out. It's a commitment you give. But he mixed the two things. Okay. There will be a separate transaction. I mean, this is the master plan
for the bauxite itself.
Yes. Okay. Then I'm very positive that government would not just get up without having some reliable data
before,
of course, and
signing certain documents.
And the whole thing, the fact that 2 billion is being signed, does not mean that immediately. It's in phases.
It's in phases.
The drawdown will be in phases, so it's not going to be 2 billion at a go. No, it's 500 million, 500 million, 500 million.
All right.
So each step, one would have to measure.
Okay.
And that is one thing they would have to appreciate.
Okay, Kwame has listened carefully. Kwame, so that's Honorable Afenyomakin's assertion that there seems some lack of appreciation of the whole processes.
By the way, I said the issues they are raising have been settled by the Supreme Court when we took up the matter.
I'll have enough time to.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time, so
you see, that is a problem. Let me tell you. First of all, NPP is not doing anything for Adaklu. What he talked about is this. The NPP, I'm told they are building youth resource centers in the 10 regions. Volta region had one and was supposed to be sited in Ho. Due to lack of land, the NDC in the past donated about 100 hectares of land for the building of a multi-purpose sports complex for Volta region. That land is within Adaklu. I was part of the people who showed the land to President Mahama when he visited Adaklu. Due to the lack of land for the whole project, they strayed into Adaklu. In fact, if you go there today, you see the signboard, the location is Ho. The location is called Ho, wrongly, because they didn't even know where the boundary was. So NPP never intended to do anything for Adaklu.
But it's been brought there.
What Adaklu people wanted was the completion of the 5 district water project and the road project and awarded under President Mahama, which so far they said they won't do, so they are not doing it. So let that be on record.
Is the youth resource center? No.
Let's move
is
on.
The resource center?
Let's move on.
I don't have a lot of. I think he's only saying that it is not in his constituency and that it was because there was no land.
But let me say, I'm saying that.
I mean, let's be fair to the
fact. Afenyomakin goes there today, he would have seen a project inside Adaklu called Ho, and I'm saying that they only strayed into it.
So has it come?
They only strayed into it. Nobody promised Adaklu a sports company. In fact,
Kwame,
what we wanted, they said they won't give to.
Kwame, has it come? As a youth resource center.
I don't have a lot of time.
You see the way politics is making.
The
NDC
are known for infrastructure. We believe that you cannot develop this country based on consumption. You cannot develop this country just by paying student loan allowances and other things. When you build Terminal 3, when you build Kumasi Airport, you create sustainable jobs. That is our call. So we are not against it. We've shown this. President Kufuor in the past brought the Bui Power Project. It was done on the back of cocoa. We are still paying. The Atuabo gas is similar. They were all called loans. This is where the problem is. The president, in a rush to fulfill a campaign promise, even failed to get cabinet approval. So this
on this project?
Yes, this is under an executive authority. So even borrowing $2 billion and the president couldn't even wait to go and seek cabinet approval.
Is it unconstitutional?
So this is what Ghanaians must know.
Dr. Baumia and the president took this decision on the blind side of cabinet. That is one.
Is it unconstitutional?
Two, they are calling.
I'll put all those questions to, but
they are calling it barter. Let's read the definition of barter. The exchange of goods and services for other goods and services without using money. This is the definition of barter. He said they were borrowing under Article what?
He said
Article 268. No, Article 181.
Okay, it's
look. All right. This is the sub headline for Article 181. What do you read?
Loans.
This is the subheading for Article 181, under which you are borrowing. Did you see it?
You are getting it.
No. I'm not getting it wrong. The Constitution doesn't lie. I'm saying that you are saying this is barter. There's no barter under this. Article 181 is loans, and that is the subheadline, and everybody can Google it and read it. So we are saying that this is just a loan. In any case, you've asked him a very important question, which I'm happy he's an honest person. He has answered. As of the time they came to Parliament, they don't even have a clue how much you are going to get from this process they are instituting from a year. So the finance minister have no clue whether we are going to get the money. And the interesting thing in this agreement is this: they are saying if they fail to get the money, Ghana government should go and find some money and pay. And this is it. Under which barter agreement? We are saying exchange of goods for goods. Do you go and pay 2.8 to 3.3% interest per annum? Barter trade. Under which barter trade do you go and pay commitment fee of 1%? Under which barter trade you pay management fee of 1.2%? Under which barter trade system do you pay a premium of up to 9%?
So for the minority, it's a loan.
This is a very punitive loan, and the reason they are in this corner is because they can't be seen to be ridiculing Dr. Baumia, who pretended loans are wrong, but in front of him, even last week, we took 8 loans when he was standing there. 8 loans. In fact, by the close of this week, we have borrowed in excess of 3 billion if you were to add this to it. In this, and then you see, this is even
right. Let him read 1815.
This is even outside the fact that they have borrowed almost 40 billion.
Let him read 1815.
They have already borrowed 40 billion.
It's under 1816.
Read Article 1815.
Why are you talking about
1815? Read it.
Look.
Read it. Unfortunately, wrap up for me. We have
read 1815.
The subtitle of the entire
read 1815.
It's loans.
Read 1815.
Why 5?
I say read 1815. The particular provision and the
what is the subtitle?
You don't want to read it.
I wish.
Let me conclude on this. Another ridiculous thing is
read 1815.
This thing was not even signed by the finance minister. Was signed by deputy minister. Borrowing without cabinet.
He was asking if it's unconstitutional.
Hold on. I'm saying that
quickly because we don't have a lot of
borrowing without cabinet approval. Borrow without knowing how much you are going to get for a year.
But brought to
calling it barter when you are actually paying ridiculous interest, and this not being signed by even the minister with the Chinese. This was signed between the Chinese and a deputy minister.
Does it make it illegal?
Listen, this is about why this is a very curious thing. Does that mean that the finance minister is not in support of this? Does that mean that the president thinks if he takes this to cabinet, it will be rejected? These are the questions we should ask. And in any case, is Dr. Baumia now saying that they cannot develop this country?
Deal with the issue. Don't personalize.
Ghanaians need to ask Dr. Baumia a direct question.
Don't personalize.
Are you saying you cannot develop this country you cannot build roads without loans? You cannot build bridges without loans? As you said, President Mahama was only doing these things with loans. But at least we saw the things being done. So this is where we are.
I guess we'll have more time to discuss this issue.
Right.
When the
issue came to Parliament.
I am grateful.
And he said we supported it. Let me put it on record. The NDC was totally, and we are still against.
Did you vote against it? Yes. Is a member of Parliament for Adaklu constituency.
Yes.
Honorable Afenyo is MP for Futu.
We are for
gentlemen, I am grateful for your time. We'll have more after this. Stay here with us. All right. right, now let's look at this quick one. The president this morning on some of the newspapers assured that the double intake is the best way to deal with what we're facing now, the quagmire we find ourselves with the free senior high school program. Don't forget that the Conference of Heads of Private Second Cycle Schools raised concerns from the initial stages when the program was started that get us on board. We have spaces. They were ignored. Now we find ourselves here with a double intake staring at us. Exactly how can private second cycle schools play a part in what we're facing now? My guest is the Public Relations Officer of the Conference of Heads of Private Second Cycle Schools, Naftali Chebafo. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Hope you're doing great.
By the grace.
Let's start from here. So this is where we are. Private second cycle schools did not or were not part of the free senior high school program. Now we're talking about a double intake. You think that you can have a role to play here?
Thank you very much, Bright. Let me say a very big good morning to all your viewers. Just as you rightly said, when this whole policy started unfolding, we decided to make input because we foresaw some of these repercussions.
Right.
And we felt that if we should include the private sector as far as the educational sector is concerned, it's quite prudent to do that. Because this whole double intake or double track system, if I get it right, is as a result of the excesses we have, the 180,000 candidates. Let's do a very simple mathematics here. We have 946 senior high schools that participated in the last WASI, 946. Out of the 946, we have 696, that is for public schools. So they benefited from the free SHS. If my mathematics or my arithmetic is right, it means you have 250 schools left. So definitely these 250 schools are private schools, minimum. Now, all the schools have the capacity to absorb a minimum of 500 students. So if we should multiply 500 by 250, we are getting 125,000. Which means government's headache of 180,000 is almost solved.
Somehow resolved.
Some of us have the capacity to absorb more than 500, even 1,000. Gone were the days prior to the introduction of free SHS. Candidates about 1,000 were being posted into our respective schools, and we're able to contain them. So if we should post like 1,000 to some schools that have the facility to absorb them, it means we can even absorb more than the 180,000. Would there be a need for any double track system? You see, the focus here, and sometimes what baffles us is that almost all the sectors that government is trying to excel, is working in tandem with various private sectors. It is happening in agriculture. It is happening in is it planting for food and jobs, in health, NHIS. It is happening in one district, one factory, one village, one dam. Almost all the other sectors, government is trying to work with private sectors. What we're saying is very simple. We have the facilities already. Gone were the days that government used to absorb only, there was a peg, there was a cutoff point. Some had grade 6, sometimes to like 24. And those who had grades beyond that particular cutoff point, where were they? Those were the moments that private school was seriously in operation, where all those candidates were absorbed. So we were not really feeling those excesses. When we were part of the computer school selection and placement system, when candidates were being placed to us, and it's unfortunate that this whole turnaround came when the free SHS was introduced. Nothing has changed. We believe that instead of going to pack students in various public schools, when we have the facilities, let's sit and discuss.
Let's talk about this issue, because it looks like government's concern is about the cost of the free senior high school. Is it a commitment? Has government been told that private second cycle schools will take the exact amount that government is paying for these public schools, students in public schools?
Right, you know, these were the concerns and issues we raised in our petition, stated categorically. That, for example, if you take like day, if government has earmarked 500 cedis for a child,
student,
it is the same amount we are taking. You see, where we have a little bit of challenge mostly has to do with the boarding. And that's why we need to sit and discuss. Because probably our services may be quite different from that of government. Even that, we have to sit and discuss. So we come to a consensus with government and know that if there is any form of an addition that needs to be done, probably, if, for example, government, can you imagine government, if I'm right, in various public schools, I'm told that they are paying 1,200 for boarding.
Per student.
Per student. In private schools, you are paying 1,500. What is the difference? 300 cedis. 300 Ghana cedis. So the parent decide that I really want a private school, which means that government has earmarked 1,200. If the parent so desires the various services that is being rendered, the parent can decide to add just 300 to enjoy those extra services. Those who decide that I just want to move with a normal train, you still pay the same 1,200.
And that's a commitment.
This is what we have stated to government. And it was done even before the policy was enrolled. You see, this is sometimes we feel that let us try to give opportunity to stakeholders as far as policies are concerned.
Have you, what is it that you've been talking to government? What is it that you're being told?
We feel fundamentally government has the plan, the vision, probably did it without considering private school in the first place. That is what I see, to be honest. That we're not really considered at the initial stage. So now trying to bring in private school has now become a different thing altogether. I was thinking that, fine, probably the first year of its introduction, we're not part or we're not considered. Now we brought our petition even before it was introduced. I was expecting government to sit, analyze the various issues we have raised, the concerns we have raised, and let us see how it can be very impactful. If government had taken cognizance of the issues we raised, I have no doubt we wouldn't have resorted to double track system.
If a deputy minister of education, for instance, says that there's no place for private second cycle schools in the whole free senior high school project, is it a matter that suggests that then it's a closure and that government will go without your people?
When I heard it, my heart was broken, because I feel that, you see, the kind of issues we are raising, it is equally what we are equally foreseeing as well, also as stakeholders who are in the system. And we believe that it is not in any way trying to struggle with government. No, the power belongs to government undoubtedly. But when you feel you have the edge that you can contribute to the development of your state, because this is what you have been doing all this while, and you have the means to do it without any other ulterior motive, and you are being denied, sometimes it's quite unfortunate. I feel it's not too late.
So the best thing is to petition. That's the best you can do from what you just said.
Which we have done.
Which you have done.
Several times.
Several times.
Of course.
In the
have
first
meetings
instance,
with them.
You didn't get any results. Is there hope that
if my memory serves me right, we have met them not less than 3 times.
Is there
prior
hope
to the introduction?
Is there hope this time?
I am now seeing that probably with this idea of now trying to resort to double track system, if they decide to consider our earlier petition, I am very sure undoubtedly that probably we don't need to enter into that.
September is just around the corner. We're just wrapping up July. So with August and then September, the double track is starting. How sure are you that you get that listening ear you're talking about?
It is not too late. One thing is, honestly, I believe that this government is a listening government, because you have been made to believe so. More especially when the government is more private sector oriented. That is what we are made to believe. So I have no doubt. Undoubtedly, I feel that one way or the other, the government can do something. The government should do something. It is going to save all of us. You see, let us sit. I think desperate moment requires desperate measures. But I don't see this moment as desperate. You understand? Desperation sets in when you feel there is no better alternative. In the absence of the best, you consider the worst. But I believe that there is something better. There is a better alternative. Why not we rather consider that so that we save ourselves? See, right, one thing is that we already have 10,000 teaching staff already in existence.
That the private?
Private, and we are paying them. You now want to employ 8,000 and pay them. Whilst we have 10,000 already, we are paying. You are not going to pay. Yours is pay earmarked a child. Then we do the payment of our teachers. This is to help government. I wonder what is really making it quite difficult.
I'm grateful. Natalie Chebafo is the public relations officer of the Conference of Heads of Private Second Cycle Schools. It's a debate that will continue. You can share in it. Go to our social media platforms. Certainly, this is a conversation will continue. Stay with us right here. We're pausing for a second. When we come back, Nana Kuya Frey has all the weekend sports for you. Stay there.
Welcome back. Let's talk about the Bongo district. Of course, the DC Peter Ayimbisa has joined us in studio. But Bright Nanamfo, senior colleague here, has been exploring that particular district. Take a look at this story. When we return, there's more here on New Day.
Healthcare delivery is difficult in the Bongo district.
The Bongo district is made up of 43 health facilities. We have 1 district hospital, 36 CHIPS compounds, functioning CHIPS compounds, 1 private clinic, and 6 health centers.
But this is inadequate, compelling many to engage in self-medication. The bad terrain is also a factor.
In this particular location, we have what we call the Babibsi. These are people who treat people locally. They will not allow people to go to the hospital because of the distance. So they'll take advantage of the distance and detain them here and treat them locally, and sometimes it leads to them losing their lives.
In Bongo Soin, the pressure on the only health facility is a challenge. For over 10 years, residents have asked for a health center. Many letters were written to the assembly.
We also share boundary with Burkina Faso, so there's pressure on that facility. The foreigners come, plus the number of people living in this entire Soin community. So there was the need to put out this facility to augment and release the pressure on that facility.
Mission's advocacy with the assembly yielded positive results. The assembly saw the urgent need to put up a new health facility. Work started and it's almost complete.
From the foundation, we went to the correct depth. The molding of the blocks was well cured. That's why you see the structure like that. So once you have the blocks well cured, the foundation well established, then whatever happens, definitely the structure would follow same.
About 1,500 people in Bongo Soin will not have to travel far to access health care. The assembly says the District Directorate of Health is ready to take over the facility and post personnel here. The Health Directorate is happy services will get to the people. Meanwhile, the District Assembly is poised to expand facilities at the Bongo District Hospital to improve healthcare delivery.
Conversation is part of our Missions Ghana conversation. It's brought to you by Star Ghana, USA, DFID, Danida, and the European Union. I've been joined in studio by Peter Ayimbisa. Chief, good morning.
Good morning.
And congratulations. I see there's a lot of work going on there. Let's start from healthcare. We'll get into sanitation and education later. How are we improving the healthcare situation of our people in the Bongo district?
Let me first of all say good morning to you and good morning to the Paramount Chief of the Bongo traditional area, Naba Baba Salif Alem Yaro.
Right.
In fact, recently when the president came to the Bongo district, in fact, he was able to organize a mammoth deb of chiefs and people. So I must commend him and commend also Star Ghana for unearthing what is happening in the Bongo district. In fact, like you can see yourselves, healthcare in the Bongo district is not that good. It's not that good because of the lack of certain vital facilities in the district. You would see that the ward that was sown. It's not the Bongo Sowing Health Center. That is the district hospital. And that is the hospital where we have 2 sick people pairing or sharing one bed in the hospital.
Wow.
We have female and children having the same ward. This is where we have a situation. We might go to the hospital with one form of ailment. They'll get home with yet another form of ailment.
How are we curing that?
How we curing is that we in the assembly, we are making provision to expand the facilities at this hospital. You would agree with me that there's only one hospital with 43 CHIPS compounds.
And one private clinic.
With one private clinic. The private clinic is not even functioning as it were now. So it means that there's pressure on the sub-district compounds.
What's the plan?
The plan is to establish or put up new facilities. You go to Namoin sub-district, we are going to put up a 15-bed capacity ward for the children and female or for patients there. Because
at what speed? The speed is what we're talking about. We know the problem, we know what the plan is. What's the speed?
We have advertised the project, and by the end of next week, we have awarded the contract.
There's a big problem that Bright highlights about people not wanting to go to the clinics because they are non-existent. In the meantime, while we try to get the clinics, you know, and the bed capacities improved, how do we try and talk the people from, you know, out of self-medication and all of that?
It has to do with awareness creation and at least reaching out to the people to let them understand the need to access healthcare in the health facility instead of resorting to these people, quack doctors and traditional people who would want to use orthodox methods of treating them. So what we have to do is to embark on campaign. We have to sensitize the people. We have to let them know the need.
When are we starting this?
We have started that in earnest. Because the DHMT, led by Madam Azore, has started with that campaign already. The medical doctor has started with that campaign already. And every week, you have every CHIPS compound having a thereby of one or the other. Trying to educate the people, let them understand the need not to go to the BBC, as I said earlier, but to be able to go to the proper medical facilities so they can access better healthcare.
Let's stay in Bongo, and from healthcare, let's get into sanitation, because Bright Nanamfo highlighted a problem and has seen some respite coming to the citizens of Bongo. Take a look at this story.
If you provide this KVIP to you, the people will stop open defecation. They'll stop rushing to the farmlands to do it.
This was a groundbreaking ceremony. A poor flush toilet was to be built for Zoko, one of the communities in the district. Open defecation was common.
This old one, it is the estate where nobody wants to use it because it is not being taken care of, it is spoiled, and the place doesn't look nice at all.
Residents had no place of convenience, and so did it anywhere.
Right, so there you have the story there. Peter, what more can we report? What's new? What's the latest?
As at the time your network was in the district, we have started with only 2, Bongo Sowing Market and Zoko Market. I can report to you that we have started 6 more other KVIPs with solar-powered mechanized water system. The purpose is to ensure that we reduce the number of people who go to defecate in the open. Because in today's Ghana, we're all talking about open defecation free. So we had to relaunch the open defecation free to sensitize our people, let them understand the need to do it in a more acceptable way. So the Ministry of Special Initiatives has given us 6 more, and we have started all these projects in the Bongo district. We have 1 in Balungo, we have 1 in Bion, we have 1 in Phil, and 3 in other communities. The purpose is to reduce the health implications of doing it in the open.
Great concept, if you ask me, but oftentimes you find that finance or funding becomes a problem, and then the project stalled. What's the case in this one?
These 2, as you can see, are funded by our share of the common fund. And already we have made about 75% payment to them. So funding is not a problem. The other 6 are being funded by means of special initiatives. And I believe that they have secured enough funding to be able to take care of these ones. So funding in this particular instance is not going to...
Let's look at the old structure that was there, which you said had become dilapidated, a danger, and people were finding it unattractive to use. This new one, how are we trying to move the people from the concept of open defecation and not maintaining it properly so they don't bring the same attitude into this new one?
You would realize that anything government is nobody's thing. Nobody takes care of it.
How do we change the story?
Our intention is to, after we have completed, we hand it over to private individuals. So partner with them, they'll take care of the facility. At least they'll take a small token from users. So they'll be able to maintain the place, keep the place nice, so that it will be attractive for people to want to use. Other than that, everything government, everyday government is not able to maintain it. The human resource is not adequate to maintain it. It gets back to nobody wanting to use it. But if we partner with private individuals, at least they'll be able to be motivated by way of the collections they'll get from the users to be able to keep the place in a manner that people want to.
And we hope the collection of funds at those locations will not be a blockade to driving people to go back to open defecation.
We're going to ensure that the price remains rich to the people, remains affordable to the extent that nobody should cry foul because of the affordability. It's not going to be how we see in towns like Accra and Tamale. But we're going to be within the reach of everybody. Every poor person should be able to part with, say, 10 pesos, 20 pesos, to be able to have access to this clean and nice facility that we are putting in the district.
Finally, let's talk about roads. Some of the roads are seeing improvements now. It looks like a lot of activities are happening in Bongo. How does that sit with you?
I must commend His Excellency the President and for that matter the Road Minister for hearing to our call. In fact, if you look at the entire road stretch in Bongo district, we alone, we are receiving 87.9 kilometers stretch of road.
What did you do to attract the President's attention?
I didn't do anything much. Government knows that it is its responsibility to construct roads, to maintain roads. So we have to do, what we got to do was to inform government, to lobby behind the scenes, to continue to tell them that the state of roads in the Bongo district is unacceptable. We cannot continue to have a road in this, because Bongo, we share boundary with Burkina Faso. And that is where we get a chunk of our IGF revenue. So with the current state of the roads, we are not going to be able to raise any internal generated fund. So I had to call on the regional minister, the sector minister. For that matter, my inquiries got to the president. And I'm happy that last 2 weeks, the president himself was there to cut salt, to break the grounds for the construction of these roads. In fact, the 87.9 kilometers stretch of roads are all currently being constructed.
Let's look at the broken bridge, which is now getting some attention. The heavy trucks and all of that, it plays a critical role. What's the state now?
The state now is that the contractors are moving to site. After the ground was broken, the contractor moved to mobilize himself. I can report to you and the listening public that the contractor has moved to site. Every equipment has been sent to site. In fact, this road was constructed in 2003. And since 2003, this road has never received any major maintenance until it caved in. The community cried, they organized several demonstrations to the assembly, but nobody listened to them. This government has come and we are listening to them. That's why His Excellency himself thought it wise to move to Bongo district to ensure that this project is completed. And he made a promise to the Bongo people that as soon as completed, he's coming back to cut salt for the use of it.
I can hear a viewer perhaps whispering in front of his TV or her TV that, why must it take TV3 and Star Ghana to have highlighted all these problems before action had to be taken?
I think that we are partners in this enterprise. Any TV, well-minded TV station is to entertain, to educate, to inform. So it is your responsibility as a nation's network to unearth what is happening in the hinterlands. So TV3, you only did your work as a responsible media house, and we took it upon ourselves also to ensure that your cries does not fail in a non-listening precedent. So TV3, you did your work as a responsible TV station, But as a government, we also did our work as a responsible government. So what you did is good. We must commend you for unearthing what happened or what is happening in our district. We must also commend the government for responding swiftly to this client call of the TV3 and for that matter the Bongo people. Because in the past, these calls were made. In the past, these calls were made, but nobody listened to these calls. People demonstrated. People died on that road, yet nobody listened to them. So I'm happy that today we have a president who is listening to the people. And that's why when you made the news, the minister himself had to move to site, the sector minister, to see what the presentation you made, whether it was the true state of affairs of the breach or not.
And the people are happy now. The people of Bongo are excited about it.
I wish you were there. I'm sure your network was there. The coverage, the mammoth, the nature people came out, poured out in their numbers to cheer the president. Because this is the first time we have a sitting president visiting Bongo district in less than 2 years. It has always been during the usual campaign seasons where they come to make a lot of promises. But this time around, it's a president with less than 2 years. He has moved to Bongo district.
Peter,
and people were very happy and excited.
I thank you, Peter Ayambisa. He's DCE for Bongo. I wish you well, and I hope that you keep your promise to the people of maintaining the new toilets, of improving the health system, of improving education and the road network as well. I wish you well, and I'll hold you to your promise.
Well, obviously,
thank you very much.
Expect to see you and see more of our programs on your network.
I'll come for my yam shortly, but thank you very much. This conversation has been made possible as part of our Missions Ghana initiative. It's brought to you, funded by Star Ghana, DFID, Danida, USAID, and the European Union. Up next is Sister Fia, but take a look at this video. It's a brand new one called Champion. And in our local parlance, when somebody says you're a champion, it means that you're just running around and you're not doing nothing officially. I've been joined in studio by Sister Efia. Sister Efia, how you doing? You look good.
Thank you.
Monday morning, why is your
so why? I can call Shobi. 3 o'clock on your day.
Hey! So you woke up like this?
Yes.
Man, freshness be what? How have you been?
I've been okay. How are you?
I'm fine. How's the industry treating you?
Not bad, and we're still getting there.
Okay.
Small.
I see the promissory ring.
I'm curious. It's just for flex.
Oh, this one is for flex. Yeah, it's not blocking anybody.
It's
somebody
not blocking
has not
anybody.
booked, somebody is not. It's not a promissory ring. I see.
I'm waiting for someone to promise me.
Nobody's promised yet?
No.
Hi. Why? How
I don't even know. I think maybe they are not looking my way.
They are not looking your way. Princess Shingle's story kind of. Is it equivalent to?
Oh no. I'm not really looking for them kind of stuff.
But they have not come to propose.
Not propose. No. Okay. I'm too young.
Okay.
I'm very, very young. So.
Like you're 16?
Yeah, you can give me that.
I see. So what's the concept behind this champiota thing? I mean, in our local parlance, it's champiota.
Exactly.
You're nobody. You're just running around.
That's the whole definition for champiota. It was basically a man who has no money and trying to tell me he likes me, and then he's not even my class anyway. So yeah, that's what the reason.
But who are you talking to? Who in particular? You want to put a name to the champiota?
I wasn't talking about anybody. It was just the vibe that came with it.
Okay. So you're mirroring what's happening in society. That there are a lot of men who go around telling people things.
It happens today.
It does?
It does, yes. You know it.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm stuck in the studio, so I don't know.
Okay. It really
but
does
it does happen. People tell people things that are not.
And but you know.
So how did the ladies respond to it?
They like it. You know?
They like the champiota vibe.
For them, yeah. All my songs have always been about, talking for the ladies and everything like that. Yeah, and this one of them. So.
Are you part of the Pepe Dem Ministries? You're talking about ladies.
No, yes, no, and yes.
How come? Okay, explain. which
Pepe Dem? Really, I haven't really. Actually, I don't really know the definition of Pepe Dem.
Okay.
I really don't know. People are talking about
Sugar
it.
Dem?
I've heard of the names, but I really don't know why people are saying that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where do you belong?
I'm confused in this too. Like, I don't know which one I should take.
Do you want to start your own movement? Like,
pepper them.
Yeah.
Sugar them.
You can ginger them.
Well, I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
I see, but you like talking for the women,
yes.
or speaking for the women, a gender activist of some sort. Why? Why is that?
Because I'm a woman.
Okay.
And I know a lot of things. I mean, we go for a whole lot of challenges, and men wouldn't really understand because we are women and we know who we are, like we know what we go through. So that's the reason why I'm always standing in for women, you know, because I feel them. Yeah.
How much did it cost you to make this video?
A whole lot.
You say you don't like to talk about it, but
yes.
I want you to tell me about it.
A whole lot. I'm not really going to say the budget online. I mean,
on air,
but it's a whole lot that went in there.
Did it cost you so much?
We had to travel
to an arm and a leg.
I didn't break it. But we shot the video somewhere in Kumasi.
Okay.
It's not in Kumasi, but outskirts of Kumasi a little bit. And yeah. And Lil Wayne, shout out to Kojon Kansan for doing a great job.
He held you down
there.
Yes,
he did.
If you look at the music scene at this point, when you got in Uptown to this point, are you seeing progress?
Yes.
Are we making it?
Yes. It's step by step. I always say this. You just don't get it just like that. A lot of people do get that, but it's timing. And I think that's what's happening to me right now because I've been consistent. I've been trying to release songs. I'm also a working student, so it's hard. But at the end of the day, it's progress.
How do you juggle the two? I'm curious.
I don't even know.
You don't know. It just happens.
It just happens. I think when you have passions for two stuff, you actually.
You're a nurse, right? Okay. So do you get criticized by your superiors? You know, you're dressing flamboyantly and
all the time. The thing is, listen, this is what people really don't understand about female musician who likes to perform in their, wildly, let's put it that way. Because as a musician, like when I say we are, we are nurse, we share nurse from Tade, right? Yeah. Presenting. What's your coats? You know.
Wear a uniform. It's a uniform.
Yeah, this is a see, it's a uniform. What's our Ghana? You know. So it's like as an artist, you have a uniform. You know, you have to.
And yours is to show the flesh on your bones.
Yes, because I'm a performer and I'm a female. I don't want to have. You don't expect me to be in Kaba and come and stand on stage and be singing. You won't even listen to me. But it's a meshadia, but this what it is.
But for the men who watch you and they get confused and disturbed at the same time, are you not leading them astray?
No, listen. When you see, I only perform that way on big stages. I don't really dress like that. Like I normally dress nice. You know, sometimes a little bit. You know, but it's always nice and casual. And
like you show something small.
Yeah, I always do, but it's my craft, and I'm a musician. I think that's what happens, shall we?
That's it.
That's it. It's a uniform, you know. Yeah.
So Champiota is out on the market now, right? Where can we grab it?
It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere on YouTube, all the social media platforms, and it's everywhere.
Okay, so we can download it.
Easy.
And share the videos as well. Okay. Closing thoughts for your fans. That's your camera right there.
I love my fans. You guys are amazing. You guys should keep supporting me. You guys have held me down since the beginning of my career, and you guys are still holding me down. I need your support every single day. And yes, let's win together and put Ghana on the map.
I thought you were going to do a line for Champion.
Okay. Okay, that's confusing.
Okay, no, let's go.
Okay.
Don't mind Harry.
You say you want body yazo, see the trimutanka for my back, onapo. Yeah, chala body ni ye gam. You for hold cash. Follow this nyash, obapo, usikasamo pasa. Choke for one corner, na boga be with flip dollar. Debbie, baby, you over my dead body, bros, and show what you don't holla. Man, you long.
So, hold on. So, you're promoting premarital spending. Is that it? Is that what you're promoting? Premarital spending.
No, Charlie, you know, a man I say when I'm a woman. Okay. Even though we are also like.
So like the ladies must see the men like ATM machines.
That kind of sad, yeah, but it's not. It doesn't have to be necessarily ATM machine.
I thank you, sister. Steph, pleased to meet you. Have a great time.
You
and
too.
That's it. You have the brand new one, Champion. Go out there and grab it. We'll be back shortly, but take a look at this video right now. Okay, here we are. Champiota, right?
Yeah, I saw a fear there. Quite.
Anyway, so let's take a look at the Tilapia's cartoons. They're screening the EC nominee for partisan virus. It's still a conversation that the NDC hopes to pursue. There are some others who have raised concerns. So I see Dr. Papakwesi Ndum of the PPP. I see Nana Konedo Ajimayonis of the NDP.
Screening?
Yes. He's actually looking towards the armpit area. I don't know what's checking.
Perhaps hiding some pin sheets.
Yeah, and well, Nana Konedo says perfect for the job. Papakwesi Ndum hasn't spoken yet, he's just watching. But the NDC's Kokwanyi Deho and General Sedun Ketia say he be rigging machine lab. But Jean Mensah has raised her hand, so to say I'm clean.
Johnny, I have my own views about this. I think that this, where we have gotten to, it is virtually an impossibility for any chair of the Electoral Commission to try and call the election for any other person. I don't know. Maybe the parties themselves should tell us exactly how it is done, but I have my own doubts. I mean,
you have your own doubts?
Yes. I mean, these days that you can have every polling station can have a rep from you. I mean, why not? You have your results in your hand, even before the Electoral Commission announces the final.
Exactly. People will tabulate. So another Tilapia cartoon, and it's on 3news.com, by the way. You can always check them out. Hambo PK meets Asumje Hene. So Akwaba, that's Professor Mills saying Akwaba to Pakwesi, and they are out there.
What a meeting it will be.
I'm wondering why Professor Mills still has to wear his spectacles in heaven. I thought everything was supposed to be perfect in heaven.
He needs to read.
He's wearing his spectacles and they have lipstick. Tilapia is a bad boy. So they are praising God. I'm sure they are dancing Azonto in heaven. Yeah, it's interesting. But last Friday, I must congratulate the military for putting up that spectacular, if you like, performance out there in honor of the late Vice President. Very interesting. There's another cartoon, maybe a final one for today on the EC chair whole enterprise. And guess what? The president of the republic is the
referee.
No,
that's not a referee.
That's a linesman.
No, it's those guys who come in with the substitution and the time for
match commissioners, linesmen,
extra time. Who are they?
I don't know.
Are they match commissioners or the assistant referees? So what is their
maybe
role?
I don't know. Maybe they're part of it. And then the President Mahama says, "Oh, how?" So it's Jean Mensah coming on to substitute Charlotte Hussein.
Is President Mahama an assistant coach?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he's a supporter. He's a fan. He's a football enthusiast. You know how in Ghana when we play football, all 29.6 million of us become coaches. So he says, "Oh, how?"
But Charlie,
but the president is not looking.
The jerseys, the two of them, the leaders are wearing very nice jerseys.
Very nice jerseys. They look like Kotoko jerseys.
Yes.
Yeah, with Ghana flag, So. Tilapia is a bad boy, but you can get more of Tilapia cartoons on 3news.com. Go on there, like it, share it, and make sure that we all have some fun. It's Monday, so we're starting serious work. A full week of work begins today. There's a 30th. Tomorrow, the month ends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
31. Oh, okay. I'm sure my account is swelling up.
Somebody says July 31st.
All right, so have a wonderful week. Stay right here on TV3. We'll see you tomorrow morning. But don't forget to stay aware of prayer for Zimbabwe. They are voting
today. And Guta, I hear you're meeting the Minister for Trade and Industry.
Push them.
Yes, retail business is for Ghanaians. End of story. No long talk. No ECOWAS community. See you.